uh, had my son loaned me, did some lovely thing as sons tend to do sometimes, loaned me some of his lights, so I could sort of do something about the darkness in this room. And I've got cords everywhere, and I'm not really sure that it's made much difference. But anyway, hopefully that makes it a little bit easier for my camera to cope with some light, and with you guys to actually see some actual true colours in the products. So I'm just trying a few things. So bear with me. Hopefully that seems pretty clear, pretty focused. So that's a good start. So let's see how it goes as I start moving my hands around. It does mean we're going to have a few little glinty bits around the place, but it is, 11 o'clock in the morning here, or just past here in Tasmania or Hobart, and it is probably like dark, as in, to be heading to dusk. It's just really, really dark at the moment. So anyway, so let's have a bit of a see how we go, and hopefully the lamps that Sammy donated me, or at least lending me, will make a little bit of difference. Unfortunately, I don't think the other craft room I had around the other side of the house would be much different today. It's a pretty dark day. Anyway, so let's see if we can brighten it up with some crafting. And if anything's going to brighten up your day, it's going to be this Splendid Day Suite. See how I did that? That was sort of led into it. That was pretty cool. Yes, it's in the upcoming celebration catalogue. Oh, no, mini catalogue, the Christmas July to December mini catalogue. I don't know about you guys, but I am so not ready for Christmas yet. I know I'm supposed to be designing cards for a Christmas workshop I'm going to have, an in-person event down here, and I just can't bring myself to start thinking Christmas. I think I probably know why that is, but I won't bore you guys with it now. But yeah, it's just something I just can't bring my mind to yet. So I'm going to steer away from Christmas. I'm going to use a new product, but as I say, it's the Splendid Day Suite, which I think is the only non-Christmassy product in this actual catalogue. But it is worth having a look at all the same, because the stamp set and the dies are really cute. They're really nice, a nice sort of green if you're not too much into flowers. There's some foliage there, some nice little sentiments as well. Pretty good for a wedding sort of thing, or that sort of thing, because we've got today is a day to remember. So, something sort of celebrating something special. But I suppose the star of the show is this designer series paper, and I'm hoping that my video setup isn't going to ruin this too much for you. But anyway, I'm sure you'll see it a fair bit, from me at least, over the next little while. It's every piece of designer series paper in this pack is foil on one side. So this one, I don't know if you can see that colour at all, but that's like a soft sea foam with a white sort of leaf design, and it just shines. That at least you can see from the video. This one is a sort of a rose gold, maybe a copper, and it's got the leaves on it as well, so that's beautiful. This sort of thing, that's more like a champagne gold, got little bees on it and everything. Anyway, I won't go through them because, as I say, I don't think the light here is doing them any justice, but I am using one of these in my next Funfold class. So if you like to see them more closely, watch out for that class, and there'll be a card that uses those. But actually this card, I'm going to use one of them. I'm actually going to use that soft sea foam one that I showed you first of all. And we'll get going. For the second card, I'll actually use one of the freebies from upcoming celebration as well, so stay around for that. Now, this is the card I'm going to make us today. It's just a note card size, and it uses some of those really cute little foliage from the die set, and this beautiful soft sea foam silky ribbon that comes with the collection as well. So I really like that. I did it as a note card size because these elements seem to get lost a bit too lost in a full-size card, so I sort of scaled it down. And I thought if you were doing it for a wedding or something, you know, often you just pop a little note card in with your gift when you're doing a wedding card. Often people don't go full size when they're actually going to put it with a gift. But anyway, this is the one we're going to make today, and I may add a little something extra to the version that I'm going to make for you, because as usual, I had an afterthought that I thought was a good idea. So anyway, as I say, we're starting as a note card. It's got a little blitch on that. So this is soft sea foam. Again, hopefully the colour is coming up not too bad for you. Soft sea foam. And a note card is various opinions on the size of a note card. I've stuck to the Stampin' Up size, which is a 3.5 by 5 inch card. So it's nice proportions there. So anyway, so we'll start with that. I have a panel of basic white, which is a 1/4 of an inch smaller. So it's 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. And that's where I'm going to start this card. So what I'm going to do is grab the sentiment that I'm going to use. So I'm going to use Let's Celebrate again. And I'm going to bring in my soft succulent ink. Oh, I think it's definitely going to rain. I think any of my Hobart ladies watching, if you're anywhere in Hobart that's raining at the minute, let's have a bo peep. Did someone say there's a Hobart in Indiana? Fancy that. Well, I think Hobart was some sort of explorer dude, so maybe he explored other places other than Australia. I'm sure he probably did. Anyway, all good. Well, thank you, Emma, for telling me you're in Hobart as well. So it would be dark in your Hobart, being 8 p.m. Or maybe getting that way anyway. Okay, so I've got my Let's Celebrate. That's straight from the stamp set. It's a nice little sentiment. And I'm going to pop it straight onto this white panel of cardstock, basic white. Now, thinking whether I'm going to do it slightly different to my original card, or will I stick to what I have done? This was what I was contemplating changing up slightly. So I'm going to move the sentiment, and you guys are probably going to yell at me from behind your screen saying, no, Julianne, don't change your design mid-video. But anyway, we can always revert to the original if this one goes horribly wrong. So I've got that just stamped there in my soft succulent ink, not particularly straight, but that's all right. And I'm going to pop this now that it's what's the word? Stamped. I'm going to pop that through I'm just grabbing it now, through my embossing, my cut and emboss with my favourite, as you know, embossing folder, the Time Worn Type emboss, just to give that a little bit of interest. So here's my machine. Hopefully it'll focus okay. Here's my Time Worn Type embossing folder. I'll move out of your face a little bit. I'll pop that in. Try and keep that straight so the type is straight. And I'm just going to pop that straight through. And while I've got my embossing on, I might use my baby machine for the next lot. That's all right, I can pop this out of the way. It's a bit big. I'm going to do some die cutting as well, but I'll use my baby machine for that. Okay, so we've still got our sentiment on there, but it's sort of been softened a little bit by popping it through that embossing folder. I'll just pop my machine back. It's a good thing about having my headset. I can wander around the craft room and still keep talking to you, which is really good. Okay, so there is the first layer there. So what I'm going to do is just basically glue that straight onto the card base. And as I said, this is a smaller than usual card base. Yeah, Tammy, you're saying it's gloomy. Yeah, it is gloomy. And you're just above me or up the hill from me, so yes. Since you're higher up, you'll probably get the rain before me. Okay, so there's just our little embossed panel on our card base. Now, as I say, I was going to do some die cutting, so I've got some little scraps there of various colours, and a piece of the designer series paper that we're going to use as well. So I'll grab out the dies I'm going to use. So from the die set, as I say, it's got some really nice little dies here, lots of leaves. You can die cut the ones that you actually, stamp from the stamp set, plus it's got some extras as well, which is really good. So I'm going to use this little half circle here. I've seen this used as various things. I've seen it used as making a plant pot, that sort of thing. And I've seen it used a lot just as a sort of a random abstract sort of shape, which is sort of what we're going to do with it today. So I'll just pop that through. I want one half circle of the actual, I may have to stand up. It's a bit hard to die cut when you're sitting down. So I'm going to get one just of that side, of the glossy side, and I'm going to flip over and get another one of the other side. Now the other side is more of a, still sort of it's a blue, but it's more of a blue, a green blue, sort of like more like a pool party, I think, the other side, but that's okay. We can carry that off, no worries. I am going to have to stand up, apologies, while I die cut. That's better. Some things you cannot do sitting down. Well, I can't. Die cutting is one of them. I actually find I cut my kits when I'm cutting kits. I tend to do a lot of that standing up as well, which is probably healthier than sitting down the whole time, I think. Okay, so that's that one. We've got our two semicircles there. Put them aside. Then we're going to grab this beautiful big leaf here. I'm going to do that in soft sea foam. You're just teasing me now, Deb, telling me you've got sunshine. You are a fair bit northerer than me, which is such a great thing about Stampin' Up. You get to meet people all over, not just the country, but the world. So I've got this one here. So it's just the finest, once you get out all the little weeds, it's the finest little die set, just like that. And it cuts really well. So, you know, it's not one of those fiddly ones that you have to put through 3 or 4 times. It's really good like that. What else was I going to do? This little guy here. So sort of same sort of thing, but slightly different. I'm going to do him in soft succulent. It's funny, as this is my, 5th year, nearly, 4.5 years with Stampin' Up, and you start to see similarities with the new dies and things that come out. So this time I thought, oh, what am I going to do with this stamp set, with this die? And I thought it looks very similar to the Forever Greenery, Forever Greenery, I think it is, stamp set, and that was out a while ago. So I just basically adapted a design that I'd used before. So that's our little, what is he, soft set? Yeah, so you get to sort of think, oh, that looks similar to blah, 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 and then you use those ideas again. I suppose that comes with, what's the word? When you're familiar with something. So I'm just going to do this little one here just in white. This little bit of white. And he's a little cutie as well. So there we are. So I've got that little guy in white. So I think that's all I'm going to need. Yes. I'll pop those away. So I don't think I need my little guy anymore. So I'll pop him away as well. Make sure everything's straight again. And wobbles around terribly. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so let's bring all our bits and pieces back. So how I'm going to arrange these, and this is slightly different to the original that I did, rightly or wrongly. I'm going to pop the two semicircles more towards the gap that I've created down here by popping my sentiment over a wee bit. Sort of highlight different sides, so glossy side up and then the matte side up, so pop that there. I'm going to glue those in place before I change my mind. And straight away, this has taken me out of my comfort zone because you guys know me, I like everything in the centre, you know, all sort of symmetrical and everything. So I'm already challenging myself here. Okay, there we are. So that's our two cute semicircles there. So one sort of glistening one and one flat one. Just watching the comments come and go. So if you as you pop on, say hi. I may not acknowledge as I'm working. I tend to get a bit distracted, but I definitely will pop through and read all your comments after. So once everything's over. Okay, so I've got our little die cuts. So I'm just going to pop those, picking a sort of like a central location just between those two semicircles. Just going to pop those in, layer them up. And this is part of card making that I'm still getting used to. I'm still getting used to sort of how you make a pleasing, you know, a pleasing bunch of things. I tend to make them look like a bit too much going on. So hopefully I haven't done that this time anyway. Let's see how we go. It's like when I try to, you know, there's that clothing when you're getting dressed, some people just know instinctively how to layer their clothes. You know, they have a cute little top and then they pop a sort of something over the top of that and then over the top again, and they make it look good. Whereas if I try to do that, I just look like, I've said before, I just look like I've tried to get dressed in the dark. Everything just doesn't go. Anyway, we all have our talents, and that's not one of mine. Okay, so I've got that green one on there, the soft sea foam one there. And then I'll pop this one in. I actually want to make this one a wee bit shorter, so I'm going to just trim his stem a wee bit. Have that off to the left. I'm not going to glue down every single little leaf. I'm just going to let them sort of roam free a wee bit, apart from the fact that I don't think I've got the patience to go through all these little pieces with glue. But I sort of like them to have a bit of movement. There we are. Now, people have asked me what this tool is that I use. It's not even a paper crafting tool, to be honest. Does anyone recognise this? Bring it closer to the camera. No prize, just bragging rights. If you recognise what that tool is, I'll give you a couple of minutes to see if anyone knows what it is, and then I'll tell you. So there we have our little bunch of leaves. Okay. So if you know what that tool is or what it's originally designed for, pop it in. Yeah, a couple of people might know. Yeah, so anyway, I got it from my mum, regardless of what it's for. I got it from my mum. She was crafty in this way a long time ago, and it's the handiest tool. Unfortunately not Stampin' Up, but anyway. Okay, so I've put those leaves in around my semicircles, and it's yelling to me that it's not balanced, but I'm going to try and fight that, and that I'm going to try and fight that urge to move everything central. I'm going to balance it a wee bit with some ribbon. This is the ribbon that comes with the suite as well. It's just absolutely the nicest thing. It's sort of shimmery and it's beautiful, and it bows up really well. So I'll attempt a bow here in front of you. It's a soft sea foam ribbon. I'm just trying to see what they've actually called it. Soft sea foam seam binding ribbon. Well, it makes it sound quite mundane, but it is glorious. So I only want a fairly small bow, not a huge flourish. Doesn't help when your fingers have got glue on them. Yeah, a couple people on it. It is actually for modelling clay, although Mum wasn't into clay. She was a ceramicist, or was. She's still with me, but she just doesn't do the ceramics anymore. So she had a little studio out the back of her house. She had a couple of kilns set up, which was pretty major. I think actually one of the kilns at least is still down there. And she would show ladies how to make ceramics. Like, she had all the molds and everything, and Dad would do all the heavy lifting and pour the molds. And yes, so we had never had any lack of ceramics in my house growing up. And she laughs at me now because we used to make her life misery, oh, you're not going into the studio again, you're so boring, kept telling her that we were ceramic orphans. She didn't, she got busy, didn't cook meals and things like that. We sort of give her hell. And here we are, sort of history repeats, and my kids complain about the same thing. You're always in the craft room. Anyway, that's funny. Yes, so a few of you are right. It is modelling clay, or yes, I assume it's the same thing. But Mum used to use it too. Once the ceramics, she'd poured the mould, get it out of the mould, and of course it'd have a seam. So she'd use these to even down the seams. But as I say, it is the perfect card making tool as well. So this little ribbon, I'm just going to pop it there just to cover the slight messiness of our stems, and just get a little glue dot. That bow went okay. Maybe if I keep talking while I'm doing bows and don't concentrate too much, I will actually get the hang of bows before the end. So I'll pop that just on there. And I sort of want the two little tails of the bow to sort of snuggle around that sentiment to a certain degree. Yeah. Glue dot has decided to stick to my finger. So I'm going to sort of position it to do that. There. Okay. So what do we think? It's a little bit different for me, isn't it? It's not my normal style. It's not all centered and symmetrical for a start, but I really like it. Okay, so I was going to do something very, very special and show you something out of the upcoming suite for this splendid day, is these little open leaf trinkets. Now they are gold, not gold, but gold coloured, and they are the sort of same as the little leaf that we've created when we die cut. So what I thought I might do is pop, and I probably should have popped it after I'd done the ribbon, whether I pop one on the front of that just to give that an extra lift. What do you reckon? I think it's probably quite cute. And then I'm going to use some gold pearl embellishments around the place as well. So I might grab another glue dot or two. Anyway, these are just wonderful. I might just lift my ribbon a wee bit and pop the end of it in under there. Yeah, that really lifts it, you know, that really lifts the design. Hopefully that's not too hard with these lights. I don't know. I really don't know what I'm going to do in this room, but anyway, so we've got a bit of gold leaf there as well. And as I say, I'm going to use these. These are from the upcoming mini catalogue. They are red and green adhesive backed pearls, but the red and the green are up here. I'll pop them out so you can see, but I think the star of the show is actually the gold and the silver. So we've got, so they're pearls. Obviously you can see by the way they glint. There's red and then there's a light green there, and then there's the silver and the gold. So I thought I might use the gold just around, since I've popped some gold on this, I thought I'd pop some more gold. It probably goes against my actual tendency with the green. I probably would have gone silver, I reckon, but anyway, since I've gone with the gold trinket, we'll do that. Okay, so there is my little card there. So yeah, I think that turned out quite well. I'm quite happy with that. Quite happy with that indeed. So there's our two versions. You can see with this one I kept it nice and symmetrical, and this one I've gone slightly off to the side. So depends what you how you roll, whether you can bring yourself to be slightly off centre like me. Had a bit of a struggle with that one, but yeah, no, I really like that. And as I say, those little semicircles, you can use them as planter pots, you know, with the leaves coming out of them, or just use them in a more abstract way, which is what we've done there. Okay, so that's card number one. Hopefully you like that one. Yeah, so as I say, the Splendid Day is out of the new mini catalogue, and if you're like me, you can't quite bring yourself to think too far forward to Christmas at the minute. It's probably a good one to get you started, and I'm sure you could use it with that paper. You could use that for Christmas, no worries at all. Okay, the second card is just a quickie that I'm going to do for you, and I'm going to use, these are the note cards out of the Celebration catalogue. So great time. As soon as we have the mini catalogue take off, we also have a new Celebration promotion begin. So these cards here, we've got, how many have we got them? 20 cards and 20 envelopes. They are in Pool Party and Soft Sea Foam, and they are free with a $90 Australian, obviously, $90 purchase. So yeah, so they're really, really nice. I have actually bought them out before, but I thought I'd actually use one with this. I think it's actually, if you have a look there on the envelope, you can see it's sort of following on that theme of our Splendid Day bundle anyway. So I have a feeling that's where they want us to go with these note cards and envelopes. And if I flip them over, you can see that's the blue green that we've just used with our little card anyway. So definitely that's where it's getting its inspiration from. Okay, so and the cards themselves already cut and scored, and they have Soft Sea Foam on one, and the other is a Pool Party version, whether you can see that in this light. Anyway, so I'm going to use the Soft Sea Foam since that's where we've been headed today. And I've got the bits cut and everything. So I'm going to do it as a landscape card. And I'm just, as I say, I've got everything cut, so I'll just add it as we go. I have a little panel of basic white here, and I've popped it through my fern embossing folder just to continue that theme. It's 2 inches wide and a 4 1/4 long, just to match that card exactly. So I'm going to just pop that straight onto the card, just in the centre. I'll try and get that the same distance left and right. That's not too bad. There we are. So that just breaks up that Soft Sea Foam a wee bit with some of that pretty fern embossed. Then I've got another a little sentiment box, and that's also soft sea foam. And I've taken this from the, and I did bring it over, the Painted Labels die set. So that's available in the annual catalogue, so the Painted Labels. So this is the larger of the sort of rectangular sentiment boxes. And then I've got the smaller one in white. So they sort of fit together really nicely because they've got the same sorts of straight edges and curls. So I'm using those together to for backup. So I'm going to pop this little, I'm going to pop, had to think twice. I haven't done an example of this one yet, so I was trying to work it out as I go. So we've got this one here, and I've just glued that directly to the embossed panel. So as I say, with all the work done for you already with the card base, it's sort of a nice, quick, easy additions to sort of really add to it. And then I'm going to stamp a sentiment, and I haven't actually worked out which one I'm going to use, but let's have a peep. And colour. I might stay with my soft succulent. And what sentiment can we use? Today is a day to remember. Today is a day to remember. Yep. And what's the other one that's possible? Much love in your new life together might be a touch. No, that's a touch too big. So I do want to stick to this stamp set. So I will use Today is a Day to Remember on my sentiment box. And again, that is terribly crooked, but we'll survive. Then I'm going to pop some dimensionals on the back of this little guy. And pop that in the centre of that sentiment box there. Okay, now to give that a little bit of lift, I have got some, these are again die cuts from the Splendid Steps dies, so the dies we've been using all along, and I've cut them out in gorgeous gold foil. I've cut them already. As you guys know, I guard my I tend to guard my gold foil like with my life, and so I didn't want to cut these out on this camera because you'd probably hear me crying as I was using it. So I decided to cut it beforehand. And I'm just going to pop those. I don't know whether to pop them outside or inside. I think underneath would be the way to go. So I'm just going to pop those in and under that sentiment box there. So let's pop some glue down. Again, I'm not going to go crazy mad with the glue. And this little one as well. We haven't seen that one yet, but that's really cute. And again, I'll pop some glue down. Go in there. Could actually use glue dots if I was going to get frustrated, but that's okay. I might actually trim this one down a wee bit. And I'm just going to pop these both in the other corner. And then some bling. Might use something slightly different for bling. There we are. We'll pop in some bling. So the gold would be nice, the gold that we've just used for whatever we just used it for. But I might actually use some in colour opal rounds. These are new as well. They're in the new annual catalogue. And I thought I would actually use the, these are in the 2021-23 in colours. So this is our pale papaya one at the end here. So I wondered how that would go. But I can stick to the soft succulent, which is this one here. Decisions. I might actually stick with the soft succulent, I think. And pop a couple of those on as well. Actually, no, don't like that now it's on. Eek. Pop you back. I wonder if this is any better. No, don't like that either. Okay, revisit. I do have a wonderful substitute. I'm going to use, I think, the elegant faceted gems, actually still in the annual catalogue from a couple of years ago. So really, really nice. And these are they're just little clear ones, like little drops of water. So I'm going to use those, and they, as I think somebody just said, they take the colour of the cardstock that you're using, which is really, really nice. There we are. Here we are. So there we have it. There's one with basically as easy, just with the card base from those note cards. So yeah, and it's just really something special. I really like that. And then you have a matching envelope to go with it, which is cool. You've got to be a winner if you don't have to worry about making an envelope. So there we are. Those two go together quite lovely, just like that. Okay, so that's my cards for you today. Hopefully you like those. Oh, I could have put some ribbon there. Oh, damn, too late. Anyway, it's all good. There's our two cards. I'll find the one we made today. There we are. So using our Splendid Day Suite collection, which is in the upcoming catalogue. So this actually goes on sale on the 1st of July, which is this coming Friday. So that's really exciting. That's why I've sort of brought it to you this week, because I knew you wouldn't have to wait too long. And as I say, a $90 purchase would get you the lovely note cards and envelopes. So 20 of each there in the soft sea foam and pool party. Anyway, so thanks for joining me today, everyone. It's been great to see so many wonderful familiar faces there and some new ones as well. Yeah, have a great week, and I will see you all again this coming weekend. Okay, bye.